Now, ladies and gentlemen, I've got a juicy story for you today regarding the BBC. Now, granted, this story is a few days old, but I chose to highlight it as part of today's video because I'm refusing still to this very day, despite the threatening letters I'm getting from the BBC regarding not holding a TV license, because BBC, I want to take that license and shove it up your asses. But today there's a feud going on regarding their breakfast television hosts. And oh, by the way, stick around for the end of the video, folks, because I'm going to drop kick a video on you that will have you laughing for ages, and in a good way too. But if you end up enjoying what you see here today, make sure you give this video a like. Smash that subscribe button, and without further ado, let's get on with today's opening titles.
Excellent!
BBC Breaking Point, not a typo, ladies and gentlemen, referring to the breakfast show with Charlie State and Naga.
Mr. Samir Naga. Not gonna work here anymore anyway.
Naga Munchetty, or in this case, for the purposes of this video, Naga Munchetty. Why? Well, you're soon going to find out. Even I was actually taken aback by this article today. So there was a boss at the BBC called Richard Frediani, I think I've got his surname correct, who helped the BBC scoop a major award for their breakfast show. This is Charlie State, one of the co-hosts in the morning on that breakfast show, looking very debonair and suave and sophisticated. Although these days, when it comes to BBC presenters, you've got to be careful how you throw compliment at them, right? Because you don't know what shady and dark secrets they're holding. And speaking of shady and dark, we have Naga Munchetty. This woman is 50 years old. I mean, not bad for a glamorous grandma, right? I mean, that takes some beating. So you're probably thinking to yourself, Jace, why are we looking at a nothing headline at the moment? This doesn't tell us anything at all. Of course it doesn't. Basically, there's a culture of toxicity at the moment because Richard Frediani, as it says here, not Freddy, if you want to call him by his pet name, picks out people that he likes to be in as part of his circle. So Sally Nugent, who is one of the most smuggest female presenters ever on the BBC, is part of his clique, and of course they get on like a house on fire. It makes you wonder what else is going behind the scenes. But the real juicy component of this story, folks, is this one right here, where Naga Munchetty was in talks with Sky News to leave the BBC, but just in the way that Harvey Weinstein blacklisted certain actresses from getting very key roles within Hollywood back in the day. It feels like her reputation here has also been besmirched, hence why Sky News did not hire Miss Munchetty in the end. And there is Richard Frediani again, who looks like a midget actually. Again, when he stands up, he's probably about 5'4". When he sits down, he's only 4'1". So you go figure. Now, if you tell me that these two people here, well, again, oh, by the way, that's another shot of her looking rather glamorous at some event. Again, apparently she was casting a disapproving glance at Charlie here. Whenever I've seen these two talking their bit on the sofa, they strike me as a very amiable, platonic, on-screen couple, right? I can't see any animosity towards them from each other. But here we go. Here's the juicy bit I was talking about. So, Naga 50 has also come under fire and was wrapped for allegedly bullying a junior member of staff on the BBC breakfast show last year. And I've also got to thank Dan Watton, who obviously broke this story from The Sun a few days ago. So if I wasn't watching his channel, I wouldn't have known about this going on. And I haven't actually watched much of his video because I don't want to be influenced by anything that he says, because I guess that he and I sort of think the same way. She also made, and this is in 2022 on Radio 5, she made a crude quip about a naughty act, shall we call it, for using the safe term words here on YouTube. And again, when you look at this woman right here, do you think she's not immune from being a bit of a naughty girl on the side, being one of the lads? I've worked in the industry and I've seen how people talk and behave. I worked at Radio Luxembourg, where the sales team were made up of middle-aged men and maybe one young woman at the time. And all the middle-aged men, bar one who was gay and who absolutely fancied the pants off me, which is a bit disconcerting to say the least, were chasing tail as much as they could. Industry insiders claimed that Nagasaki had been in talks with Sky News and LBC Radio to ditch the Beeb, but it seems that people have heard about her, well, shall we say, not holier than thou reputation as somebody who likes to be a bit of a bad girl behind the scenes. Now, what it says here is the BBC have wrapped her for 2 incidents in 3 years. Jimmy Savile was allowed to get away with his crimes against humanity for years until somebody blew the little nut one. Hugh Edwards also got away with being Mr. Nice Guy in front of the camera for years until his cell phone betrayed him. But again, why I chose to pick on this particular individual today, because the BBC are protecting her. She's not just a woman, she's also, wait for it, tick box, a woman of diversity. Now, folks, if this was a white chick and she behaved this way, I would still make a video about her. But again, in a workplace, it doesn't have to be the entertainment industry. Everybody makes quips, sexual jibes, everything, because it is part of banter, right? Does it mean to say that I approve of it? It just depends on the circumstances. I mean, listen, there are some extremely hot female newsreaders on the BBC. And if it came to light that they had committed crimes against humanity like Jimmy Savile and Hugh Edwards, I would want nothing to do with them. But the double standard here, folks, is if they were found out to be very naughty on the side, then I would want these female newsreaders to come knocking on my door and to help me fulfill my ultimate male fantasy. And I do find it strange, right, that the BBC are trying to brush this story under the carpet. And again, I'm just seeing in the background here that the only reason why it seems that Miss not going to get a job here anymore at Sky is the ethnicity awards in the background below the National Grid, HSBC, Tesco, Macquarie, not Christopher Macquarie, the film director. And by the way, I also want to bring someone else's attention to you. This guy, Asad Ahmad, right? Also a BBC newsreader on the evening news and sometimes the afternoon portion of the news as well. Now, I've got a friend who works at the BBC and they have been there for many, many years. And they told me, I'm just protecting their gender identity, by the way. They told me this guy chases female tail everywhere in the BBC. Now, grant you, he had a motorbike accident in 2008, I believe, and I'm not sure if he's chased after female news colleagues. If that were the case, they would have reported him, I'm sure of it. So I'm thinking it's junior staff, maybe female researchers, whatever, right? So he's got a very saintly face. And by the way, for the purposes of this video, folks, this part here about Asad Ahmad is all alleged, right? I'm just going by what I've heard from this particular person. When they told me and the expression on their face said it all, I was like, are you sure this guy, he doesn't look like the type? But my friend has assured me, yet they never do look the type. You will be shocked. That's what they said. So at some point in the future, folks, this guy has got a glowing recommendation in his BBC biography right here. Law degrees, an ambassador, member of Mensa. And if that's the case, well, he certainly knows how to pull the wool over people's eyes if allegedly he is being a bad boy behind the scenes at the BBC. So again, BBC, I ask you this question. Why are you sending threatening letters to people like me and other folks around the UK who don't want to pay your garbage license? It's because of stories like this one here. I mean, who gives a crap, right? And also, I mentioned Jimmy Savile before. Do you know why I have not watched 28 Years Later? Because there is a cult of Jimmy Saviles in the movie. I kid you not, I thought this was an actual joke, but one of them is dressed like Jimmy Savile, looks like him, but is played by Erin Kellyman. Who? That's the same bint, the speckled-faced Jesus from Black Captain America and the not-so-wintry soldier, who was the terrorist that the Falcon sympathized with. Yep, that same bint, she plays another version of Jimmy Savile. There's a bit of irony within that, because you have to wonder if she knows who she's playing or a version of. It's the most bizarrest thing. And the other reason why I haven't watched 28 Weeks Later or 28 Years Later, although it feels like weeks in this process, and I do like the sequel, by the way, even a little bit more than the first film, is because I heard it's the story's not bad, but the editing is really terrible. And mind you, we're getting, now I know I'm just diverging off topic here very quickly, folks, but the sequel, which is The Temple of Bones, directed by Nia DaCosta and starring Ray Fiennes and Cillian Murphy making a cameo in that, I think that possibly could be the better film. Now I know Nia DaCosta directed The Marvels. She gave us the very woke Candyman back in 2021, I believe, but she won't be in control of that film. The actors will be in control of her. So in other words, she can't fuck around with anybody on the set. And speaking of effing around, folks, I saved the best for last. It's a 30-second or a 37-second clip, right, based in Manchester. I've got to set this up for you. This is truly like the greatest thing I have seen. It's better than the GTA 6 trailer by a long shot. The title of the video is Slap and Kick Man, unedited. This is how you deal with the garbage of society today, ladies and gentlemen. Have a look at this.
Well, hello, mate. I gotta keep filming. There's some people. Are they coming up on us? Oh yeah, there's one trying to flank us on the far right. All right.
Delete the video from
Chill.
How you supposed to make
Yeah, dude, let's go.
Fucker. Good. Oh, I like that one. Look at that. His pants are just hanging down, aren't they? Everybody's looking at him like, yeah, you deserved what you got, you piece of crap. Oh my God, that is just hilarious. Look at him. Real tough guy. He's concealing a knife, possibly in his left pocket. And this guy, obviously, this guy, by the way, is called Charles Veitch or Veitch. I think that's how you pronounce his surname. But holy shit, man. Jesus Christ. Like, just the calm look on his face, like, yeah. What are you filming, bro? Oh, I've seen plenty of these types of videos cropping up on my YouTube feed in the last few days. Way more entertaining than mainstream media, folks, which is, garbage, boring pond life right now. But this is absolutely, this put a bit, by the way, folks, if you knew what I went through this morning and this afternoon, I'm not going to spell it out to you, but it was graphic. And then I finally get to film my video today. And this is the one video that really did cheer me up. Well, that will say more to you than you'll ever know. So ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to leave it right here, back to my beautiful face. If you ended up enjoying this video, and let me know if you're a BBC license holder and whether you're going to not pay anymore, cancel your direct debit. You should do all of those things, folks, because the BBC ain't worth your time. All this behind the scenes stuff, it just makes me laugh. And again, you never know, your favorite newsreader could be a real angelic person to look at, even on ITV on Channel 4. You don't know what deep, dark secrets they're holding, do you? And on that one, if you were me and if I were you, you should definitely return for the next video.
Like and subscribe, or get your nuts Krogan crushed on Kung Fu Hot Dog.